It's interesting, as I listened here, we talk about Social Security, it's okay. We talk about inversions, yes, we have to fix it. We talked about debt, you said it's stable, you'll leave office with a manageable situation. We talk about economic growth is reasonable. The problem is we have no sense of urgency. That's the real problem. So last week, I was at a high school. I talked to juniors and seniors. I had them put up red cards or green cards. One of the questions I asked them is, our country going in the right direction? It was a sea of red. 95% no, it's not going in the right direction. These are the people who have to deal with this debt. I asked them if our debt is too high. A sea of green. Yes, our debt is too high. I asked them if our government is working together to solve problems. It was a sea of red. Absolutely no, we're just not. Now these are kids, 19, 20, 21, 22. These are voters. These are people who are going to have to live with what we are saying is, okay, manageable. This isn't manageable. This debt, if it continues to grow, is not manageable. And it's not that hard to compare. The real difference is when a husband and wife realize that they can't pay their bills, they have a sense of urgency. When the federal government realizes their debt's growing, you know what they say? It is manageable. That's a problem. That's a real problem. And that's the issue that I think we have to get past. And it's amazing, my colleague, Mr. Larson, spoke about working together. We have to work together. You have an opportunity the last 8, 9 months of your career. I guarantee you, if you were talking to Tip O'Neill today, he would not say $19 trillion is a good number. I'm sure he wouldn't. You may say different, but I'll bet you if you and I were sitting at a bar having a drink, you probably would say a little different. It's just two of us.
I don't think any of us would have imagined the size of the economy or anything else, so the numbers reflect economic growth. But he believed in the role of government and the need for us to have a willingness to finance things that were critical.
But I'll bet you he would have been shocked at $19 trillion. To work together, and that's got to be the issue, and hopefully that can be something can be done. It would be great if the president would say, I want to work with Republicans to try and get this done. This debt's growing too much, and I think that's what's frustrating for me. I've been here 5 years, and I just keep hearing the same thing. And Mr. Kelly talked about Washingtonese. The people back home, they're saying, I don't understand what they're talking about. I know one thing, the debt's growing too high. But let's just talk about some specifics. I did want to get into some details on the budget. I constantly hear from my constituents how the federal government needs to cut down fraud, waste, and abuse. And, unfortunately, the administration budget did expand refundable tax credit programs without proposing any meaningful safeguards. I agree the EITC has a laudable policy goal of encouraging and rewarding work by low-income Americans to increase labor workforce participation. However, this program, in its current form, is rife with fraud and improper payments. I understand that the EITC program has the highest improper payment rate of any federal government program, over 27% in fiscal year 2014. Over the last 10 years, the IRS issued an estimated $134 billion in improper payments. One of the issues that again, I'm a CPA business guy, one of the primary causes of the high improper payment rate is the ITC program relies more directly on self-reported income of individuals without regarding any verification. This stands in contrast to the means-tested cash welfare programs that require income verification. In other words, individuals flat out invent fictitious incomes to maximize their EIT cash bonus. Mr. Liu, do you believe, I'm going to give you 3 questions, that the fraud and improper payment rate of over 25% is acceptable? That's question 1. Do you believe that the budget that has any proposal would make a serious effort to combat this? And lastly, do you agree this is a serious problem?
Look, I would begin where I hope we agree, that the Earned Income Tax Credit is one of the most effective programs we've had, both to reduce poverty and to get people into the workforce. That's why it's had bipartisan support. Each year, the IRS recovers or prevents about $2 billion in improper EITC claims.
But is a proper payment rate of 25% acceptable?
And no, we've been working hard to bring it down. One of the things we've put in this year's budget is proposals that would simplify the EITC and improve compliance. One of the, I'm not sure I agree with you on attributing where most of the errors occur. Some of it is just because it's complicated, and we have to simplify it so people can comply.
And I know we're running out of time, but wouldn't a verification of income be the simplest way of
Well, our tax system is one where you file and then we look at it afterwards. I think it would be a pretty dramatic change, and one that if you did it on a broad basis would make our tax system even more cumbersome. But we can have further
you.
discussions.
Mr. Pascal, you're recognized.
Thank you, and thank you,